What's up, guys? I am Tyler Hosley, and this week I learned something. I learned that there is actually decent dairy-free ice cream out there. You just have to search for it, but it exists, and now I can eat ice cream, kind of.
Ooh, what is it? Give me a
It's
brand
Ben
name.
and Jerry's. It's
Give
a
me a
little
brand name.
expensive, but
Yeah, it's Ben& and Jerry's, it's very
Cherry Garcia,
expensive.
it's the fucking bomb. It's so good. It's just so good.
I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's good stuff.
I'm Kevin Matthews, and although I can eat all dairy-filled ice creams, my favourite flavours tend to disappear. Like, I had a hankering for Chunky Monkey for quite a while, and then I couldn't find that anywhere. And you've just mentioned Cherry Garcia, Tyler, which I love, and then suddenly I can't find it anywhere. Minter Wonderland is now just a seasonal winter flavour that I can't always find. So I'm like the jinx of Ben and Jerry's ice cream flavours. Not happy about it.
Hi, I'm Craig. Film enjoy living in England, and this whole week I've been like a depressed MC Hammer, just wandering around my house, going, "Ugh, hammer time," I guess.
I'm Dave Gray, and after being rear-ended by a cop, I got myself some Rocky Road. It was good. I like Rocky Road.
You know, if Tyler that sentence would have a totally different meaning.
Yeah, totally
Like,
different.
if
Yeah,
every part of that sentence would mean something else.
yeah, pretty much. And this is Raiders of the Podcast.
Yay!
All right. I didn't watch much this week. I mostly have been watching some really weird Japanese TV series, which I might one day go rogue and force you guys to watch. So, forewarned is forewarned. But I did watch Disney's version of one of the movies we watched this evening, because we saw one of the films we're going to cover later is Captain Clegg. Excuse me. Also called Night Creatures, which is based on the Dr. Sin books, which are from, like, they wrote them over like 30 years. I think the first one was like in 1915. Last one was 1944. But the reason why Captain Clegg is Captain Clegg and not Dr. Sin is because Disney was doing their own version at the same time, with Patrick McGoohan playing the same character based on a later book in the series. It was okay. I mean, it was very 70s Disney TV movie. That was it. That was it for me.
I watched the imaginatively titled 1988 neo noir cop thriller Cop. That was all right. That was pretty solid. It's got a bit of a slight identity crisis. I think it's got this kind of uneven split between being an atmospheric LA noir, which I liked, and a sleazy cop thriller, which the Tyler side of me liked as well. I think it's James Woods makes it work. He's a draw. He plays this kind of antagonistic, psychologically damaged asshole who just happens to be like excellent at his job, which is obviously no stretch at all for James Woods. That's how he lives his life. Um, it's an odd one because it's a really awkward flow to the story, and I really wanted it to lean a bit closer to its neo noir stylings because there are some beautiful scenes that seem so separate from the sleaze, which are just these beautifully framed silent scenes in silent tours around crime scenes, and they're really beautifully shot, and they really feel like they could have been snatched out of Chinatown, but there's not enough of it, and it just keeps going back to the sleaze, which is fine. I mean, it's entertaining sleaze. The whole thing is entertainingly violent and sleazy and chaotic, and James Woods gives maximum James Woods throughout. I don't know. I would have liked a bit more of the neo noir stuff. Everyone
I
seen
have.
Cop?
I have not.
I have,
I
yeah.
think it's that and bestseller. Those two have always eluded me.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna guess that Tyler loves Cop because it is
Yes,
very
I do. I
sleazy.
like it a lot. I really like James Wood as an actor. I mean, a human being may be a little different, but he plays such a fucking degenerate so well. I love James Woods as an actor only.
Yeah, I totally agree. Up until Casino, he was just he was great. There weren't really a lot of bad James Woods performances out there, but he has turned into quite. I think he's probably genuinely mentally ill, so he has that going for him. But yeah, he's not a well guy, is he? Um, I also watched the 2024 Welsh horror drama Protein. That was all right. It's kind of middling at best. There's a good idea there, like the seed of a good idea. It's about a cannibalistic serial killer who targets gym junkies for their protein. Um, it's I don't know. It's pretty clear early on that like the writer director Tony Burke, he doesn't have a feature's worth of material here to work with, and it goes pretty heavy with the filler instead, and the filler is no good. There's a police investigation. There's some criminal goings on, which they do slot into the story, but they're still pretty dull. And I don't know. It's a handsome looking movie given the budget, and it's got some gore and it's pretty funny. There's an actor called Steve Mio he's really funny. Like there's some local local criminals as the antagonist, and he's the most out of his depth, panicky one, and he's really good fun. But it doesn't do anything you haven't seen before. Like it's got the fingerprints of like Dead Man's Shoes, Kill List, Muscle, like all over it, and it's a passable debut. But you know, Burke's gonna have to show some more of his own identity if he's gonna make another film, because this is there's a real magpie element to like, yeah, bit of that film, bit of that film, bit of this film, but it was fine. And then I watched the 2024 Cabin in the Woods psychological thriller Bone Lake, which I was in no hurry to watch that, but it was much better than I expected. Like I wasn't sure what to expect, like in terms of like subgenre narrative. I didn't really know anything about it apart from the fact that it was meant to be erotic. And I'm sorry if anyone out there is watching this film and thinks it's particularly graphic or over the top in its sexuality, then they are quite repressed people, because this is just some basic 90s level eroticism. It's nothing over the top. The film is it's essentially, I would say, a slightly hornier, much less mean-spirited take on the Danish thriller Speak No Evil. You got the one couple with sinister motives manipulating another couple through their social anxieties, so on and so forth, and it's all right. I mean, it's predictable as hell. Like every moment the script, is trying to sell as a twist is signposted and like illuminated from scene one. But the cast is really, really solid, especially an actress called Maddie Hassan. She's one of the protagonists, but both the protagonists are like they're likable and sympathetic, and that's one of the things that really works for the film. There's some pretty slick editing and camera work in there. So, it's well. It's a quite slick production, and the third act is like a straight up blast. It is really gory, really funny, hugely satisfying. Like it'll put a smile on your face. I really enjoyed the third act of it. So I was quite surprised by Bone Lake. It's good fun, and I'm going to keep an eye on the what the director does next. I know she also did a film on Shudder called A Spoonful of Sugar, which I've been meaning to watch. So I'll probably get on that one next.
Have you seen Who Invited Them? It's very close to Bone Lake.
I was just about to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I preferred Bone Lake, but yeah, I like both of them. And that's me. I also watched Sovereign before I started the 2025 kind of political drama Sovereign about Nick Offerman plays a how do you put it?
Sovereign
he's
citizen.
He's obsessed with the sovereign citizen kind of offshoot of libertarian and bullshit and so on and so forth. And it's him that just trying to indoctrinate his son, and their lives just collapsing around them as he refuses to face his reality and his son's reality. And it is it's harsh and it gets fucking heavy in the final third. Like I thought it was pretty bleak, pretty stressful, and I really really liked it. And I thought Nick Offerman was a really good choice for this character because I don't think you can ever bring yourself to hate Nick Offerman, even though he's kind of a fucking monster by the end of this one. But that's really good. That's really good. I recommend giving Sovereign a go if you're a fan of Nick Offerman. Yeah, that's me. That's me for the week.
I watched a few goodies, but once again, there may be one or two that I can't remember the timing from last week. Sorry. I know I messaged you guys, but did I mention on the show? Had I already watched No Other Choice by the time we recorded?
Nope.
No. It's really good. I really liked it. It's like I'd heard it was about like the tagline's kind of this guy gets fired and then in the sort of competitive job market he decides to get rid of his competition. That's the way it's advertised, that's the way it's marketed. Directed by Park Chan-wook, who helped to co-write the screenplay as well. It's actually based on a novel, I think, by Donald E. Westlake. And if I remember right, Donald E. Westlake wrote the Parker books. Is that right, Dave? I rely on you for book info.
Yes, that is correct.
So I mean that could be a fun read, but the thing about it is it's really good and it's just really well done. But like it's not quite what you expect maybe because it is quite it's kind of that scathing commentary based around the idea that some people will tell you, oh, you slave away for your employers thinking you'll be rewarded handsomely, and if you drop dead tomorrow there would be a job vacancy advertised the next day. It's that kind of idea really, but obviously everything that goes with employment, whether it's your job benefits or the immediate benefits from having a decent wage and keeping your home and your family secure and stuff, is all tied in. Just yeah, I really liked it. It's just over 2 hours. I think it's paced well, because like it doesn't rush from one beat to the next. There is some of the black comedy that you would expect in certain moments, but it gives you time to sort of learn about some of the different characters and see them from a couple of different angles. A great lead performance from Lee Byung-hun, and his wife is played by Son Ye-jin. She's great as well. But nobody does any wrong, but they are great leads. So yeah, that was a good start to the week. The good times.
I don't mean to cut you off, but 2025 was a big time for adaptions of Westlake stuff because what was it? Amazon did Play Dirty, Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice is based on The Axe, and then there was another one. The Actor. The Actor is based on his novel Memory.
Oh,
Also,
right, okay. I
yeah.
should have remembered Play Dirty because that's the one that, apart from having Wahlberg in the role, I thought that would had potential because of I've gone blank on Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang
Shane
Bang.
Black.
Thank you.
No, it was
Because him being
it
in the
was
film.
absolutely horrible. It was probably the worst Westlake adaptation so far.
Yeah, I don't think it even garnered a Kevin 7. You'll be pleased to know.
Good.
But the good times rolled merrily along because I took myself along to see Project Hail Mary, and it was good. It was damn good. It's kind of, I think a lot of people have been saying this about the film. It's kind of everything you want at the moment when you go to the cinema and you want to not necessarily be patronized, but to also have a good blockbuster time. I can't see many people disliking this unless they don't like the amount of humor in it, because it is quite a humorous film, almost constantly throughout. I think Ryan Gosling is just great again. I think the visuals and the soundscape were really good. The ideas at the heart of it are really good. Some of the science had me a little bit lost, but I just decided to trust them because I could still grasp enough to follow what was going to be needed for certain sequences. So yeah, I'm glad I got along to see it. I'm glad it's doing roaring trade at the minute, and it is great. Like if people like The Martian, I don't think they're going to dislike this. As I say, it just has more humor through it. But like it was great. It lived up to all the praise I'd heard for it, and I was glad I got myself along. One that was a little bit of a disappointment, and forgive me, I cannot recall who's watched this already, but I know it would have been watched by at least one of you. Send Help. Tyler,
I
you
did
saw
see Send Help.
Dave, did you watch it yet?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
did see that. I forgot all about it.
Craig,
Nope, not yet.
have you seen the trailer? Do you know the gist of it?
I do. I
Yeah.
got the gist.
Rachel McAdams is great. Dylan O'Brien continues to be fantastic in the variety of roles that he's picked. Like I don't know, like more people should be throwing around Dylan O'Brien's name now in conversations about like young actors that have been coming up and doing such great work.
Well, they kind of have been throwing his name around because there's a very dedicated fan base of middle-aged women who are frighteningly obsessed with him.
Yeah,
I came across them on
Oh, is
Twitter
it?
once, and they really they was quite scary.
but he's
They,
also never gonna live down those fucking horrible Maze Runner films.
I didn't mind them, but yeah, I mean they have been sort of um, aiding out of memory as well, haven't they? Really, but I think it's great. Last time we discussed them, obviously was Ponyboy, and he was great in that. Like he does have such a range, and he's brilliant, and he's great being this absolute douche bro. And this Rachel McAdams is really good. It's a fun thing. What what dragged this down for me though is it's a bit similar to at least one other movie in a couple of notable ways, which was a bit disappointing. I didn't realize it would sort of get that close to some comparison points, and also it felt at times like Raimi got in his own way of having to be Raimi. Like, I didn't actually like the moments where the camera kind of whizzed through some trees. It just felt like he was filming that day and thought, oh, I need to have the camera whizzing through some trees because everybody needs that. Um, I I didn't like the fact that he obviously either didn't have the budget or wasn't bothered about the varying quality of the CGI, and that's you can give or take that if the story is good enough and the performances are good enough. But I do think there were some moments that were slightly shonky and shonky enough to take you out of it slightly and just sort of roll your eyes a bit. Um, Even one sort of dream bit of imagery that I really didn't appreciate. I just thought it was like it wasn't well done. There's some wildlife that isn't really well done. It seems quite yeah, it's just a bit janky. But some of the darkly sort of comedic and sadistic moments were a lot of fun. And McAdams and O'Brien like really do well. They help to lift it up. Tyler, you enjoyed it. If I
Yes, I
remember
enjoyed that one quite a
Well,
bit. I thought it was I love Rachel McAdams, and Dylan O'Brien is just fantastic now. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite Raimi movie, but I'd probably put it in my top 5 from Raimi for sure. I really enjoyed it. I love the ending. I love the ending.
Oh, I love the very end. I'm not going
Yeah.
to spoil anything for Craig, but yeah, I love like the very end sequence. Loved, but for me, I probably wouldn't put it in like a top 10 of Raimi films. I went through his filmography and I was
But
like, yeah,
you got to
there are
remember,
probably 10 I could put ahead.
Tyler hates most Raimi films.
Oh, of course,
Well,
because of Bruce.
well, no,
Well,
Yeah. So it edging
yeah,
in,
yeah,
like, okay, he likes The Quick and the Dead
well,
and
yeah.
A Simple Plan,
my
and
favorite
what else,
Raimi movie is
Steve?
The Gift. My favorite Raimi movie is The Gift.
Of course it is.
Okay, The Gift. Yeah, of course. So, like, if you only like 3 of his movies, having one slip into the top 5 is kind of faint
We're we're
praise.
we're,
That's
we're
all I'm saying.
we're
I'm just putting that
missing. I
out there.
love For Love of the Game. I think that movie's fantastic. The Kevin Costner baseball movie. Love that one. Spider-Man. I like all of them, even Spider-Man 3. Like all the Spider-Mans. I'm just not a big Evil Dead fan, and I hated Drag Me to Hell. Fucking hated that movie. But other than that, Send Help was actually solid stuff.
It's I mean, it's a fun time. Vicky and I watched it together. We had a fun time with it. I'm glad I managed to catch her for a couple of hours before she started trying to binge watch the entirety of season 1 of The Pit. I'm sure she was up till like 2 in the morning the other night watching it, but she denies it. Anyway, that's a tangent. Sorry. I watched The Mortuary Assistant, which just dropped on Shudder. I did not realize this was based on a video game. I have not played the video game. I'd seen the trailer for The Mortuary Assistant and thought it looked pretty good. It's, I mean, it was okay. It had some good visuals, um, but it's one of those where things kind of jump about so much between what could be real and what could be imagined around the main character, that it's quite early on that you just have your guard up with everything. Do you know what I mean? So, if anyone interacts with the main character, if anything else happens, you're just sitting there thinking, well, that might be happening, or it might not. I think films that do that, I think it works best when they have some sort of key indicators where you can keep an eye out and be like, right, I think it's right, or it's done sparingly where you get the fake out and you're like, oh damn it, but the rest starts to uh, stay more grounded. So The Mortuary Assistant, it was okay for a kind of thrill ride, but didn't really work for me as well as I hoped it would. It was better than my choice for last week though, Body Cam. So it's just a slight disappointment. And then last but not least, I finally got around to watching Woman of the Hour. Decided to pick it on Netflix. I think Vicky had watched that a couple of years ago. I'd mentioned the premise to her, and yeah, I liked it, and I think I was most impressed by. For me, it felt really well handled by Anna Kendrick. Like I think she shows real, um, yeah, a good amount of skill as a director, um, as the sort of as the main actress there. Didn't seem to get in her own way. Didn't seem to absolutely stuff the cast with too many besties and obvious faces that would take you out of it. There are probably more people scattered throughout that others would recognise that I didn't necessarily take much note of. But it wasn't like, I don't know. It wasn't like one of the Avengers directing their first film and then putting all of the other Avengers in it every 10 minutes just to cameo to keep things going, which seems to happen now and again. So yeah, I really liked it. It was a good story to tell. I think it was well told with kind of a decent amount of respect to the situation playing out and the victims, and also there were quite a few moments in this that pleasantly surprised me, and that they played out kind of like was that a film called Cat Person? But just the woman and the guy possibly dating, and then they
Yeah.
keep viewing each other differently. And
Oh
remember that
yeah,
one?
yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
got that vibe from this, in a good way, because it does kind of keep highlighting, the coping strategies that women have, even when they're not being put onto a dating TV show with a rapist killer as one of the contestants. Like, everyday stuff is dangerous enough for women, and then you have that as well. So it was really good, and I hope that Kendrick is already mulling over whatever she's wanting to direct next. Because, as I say, I think she showed great instincts for everything that she was doing there. That's me.
So besides some TV stuff, I just been watching a lot of TVs, but I did watch one movie. I watched Spider-Man: Far From Home because of that damn trailer for the new one with the Punisher. I feel like Pacino in fucking Godfather 3. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in every fucking time because of John Bernthal and the Punisher. Fucking love the Punisher. Um, this one, Far From Home, has my favorite actor of all time in it, though. Jakey G, Jake Gyllenhaal. Love Jake Gyllenhaal dearly. Tom Holland is a fucking terrible Spider-Man. I'm sorry, but the dude has zero range in these movies. Like, his Peter Parker is the same as his fucking Nathan Drake in Uncharted. Exactly the same, identical performances. Only performance of his I truly liked was Cherry. I really liked that movie. I know people hate that movie, but I fucking love Cherry. I thought it was great, and he was great in it. But he's just bad in these Spider-Man movies. And not necessarily bad, he's just blah, just bland. Just his performance is just bland. And the problem is he's following up Andrew Garfield, who I thought was really good as Spider-Man. And yeah, I just don't like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I'm sorry. And it fucking wastes Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, Mysterio is an awesome villain, and Gyllenhaal gives it his all, and he's really good in it. But the script just lets him down. The action is bland. It's just a typical MCU movie, and just yeah. I really want to like these 'cause I like Spider-Man, and I'm gonna see the next one because the fucking Punisher is in it. But I was not a fan of this one, and if it wasn't for Jake Gyllenhaal and Zendaya, I like Zendaya a lot. But if it wasn't for them two, I probably just would skip it. But yeah, I am not a fan of any of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies thus far. Maybe the new one will surprise me. But that is me for the week. Pretty short.
This week, Kevin took us on a tour through forgotten Hammer films, where we covered Never Take Sweets from a Stranger, the 1960 British thriller. I mean, they're all British, so I'm not going to say that every time. Uh, The Damned, aka These Are the Damned, from 1962, Lust for a Vampire from 1971, and Captain Clegg, aka Night Creatures from 1962. Hey,
Yes.
T, would you like to pick a movie and tell us about it?
Sure. I'm gonna come straight up. I didn't really like any of these movies this week, but I will just randomly pick one. I will go with The Damned, I guess, which is about an American tourist, a youth gang leader, and his troubled sister who find themselves trapped in a top secret government facility experimenting on children. Um, I guess it was kind of cool to see Hammer tackle something a little science fiction-y. I mean, this felt like Hammer trying to make their own version of something, like The Village of the Damned, or just maybe like some little bits of the bad seed in there, but it's just not nearly as good. And I will say it is pretty bleak, and it's kind of weird, and I don't know, but and I kind of did like the vibe of like how it had like this paranoid Cold War thriller at times too. I thought that was really cool, but everything else I thought was just kind of boring. Script was bad, pacing was bad. Story wise, it was just all over the fucking place. I mean, Oliver Reed. I mean, he's really young in this, but I always really like Oliver Reed. He's really good. He's not even very good in this, which is kind of a shame. I mean, Oliver Reed is always good. I did like some of the frenetic style editing, and the camera work was good. Camera work is actually super good in this, like really, really good. It's a really well shot movie, but it's just messy and scattered. And I mean, there's a motorcycle gang, and there's like kind of like a weird romance in there. It's an evil kid movie at 1 second. I mean, for me, it's just nothing really gelled together. It just felt like a mishmash of hobbled ideas just thrown together. Yeah, I wasn't really feeling this one. It just it had the bones of a good movie, but it just for me, it just didn't. It never came together as a whole, which is unfortunate.
Um, I think it. I think it has an interesting idea at the heart of it, but yeah, it sucks. It sucks, and it's got a lot of ickiness. I mean, there's a 60-year-old making out and boning a 20-year-old.
Hmm.
Not because they've got like any kind of romantic chemistry, but because the script says they have to. They just kind of like he flirts with her creepily a little after she has him jumped by her motorcycle gang, and then they fuck while running from her brother. It's just bad, and it shorthands like the whole movie shorthands everything. I think there's an interesting premise, and maybe if this was like expanded to like a TV series or a mini series or something, it could work. But as it is, this is just. I like Oliver Reed in it. Shirley Ann Field is fine in their roles. You know, they're fine. McDonald Carey as the lead is like I like McDonald Carey when he shows up in things over the years. He was like the go-to guy for B movies in like this time period. And like he's fine. He was a long-running actor on Days of Our Lives way back in the like 70s and 80s. But he is not the right guy for this role. He just is bad. He is very bad, and it's not fun. I'll give the kids credit, like they do their best with what they're given. But again, they're not given much. It just kind of sucks. Oh, fun fact. The lead guy, one of his last roles, do you want to guess what it was?
A paedophile. The king of
It,
the paedophiles.
no, I mean that would be good. But no, he's the judge in It's Alive 3.
Oh,
Which a fun one that I know Craig would appreciate. That's why I wanted
I'm
to,
sure I would. Okay, on the list. I think it was
put
already
that
on the
out
list
there.
because, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just one of those things. They waste Viveka Lindfors, who is a really solid actress. She pops up in Creepshow and The Sure Thing and the 1950s Dark City. No Sad Song for Me. Like she was in a lot of good stuff. I think she's in Stargate also. But like it's got a good cast that is just not used well in a story that is just not worth sticking around for. The part like the parts are there, it just doesn't come together. Like Tyler said.
Yeah, this is one I've heard others recently give quite a bit of love to. I listen to many other podcasts, and a couple of them have done, either the entirety of Hammer's horror tinged filmography or select titles. And I've heard people discuss The Damned and really raved about it. So I was keen to mark this off the list. I was excited when Craig picked it. I knew he picked it because it was Joseph Losey. That was it. It was on his Losey list. So that's what it was going for. But yeah, I was hoping this would be good, and I didn't really enjoy it. The first thing that threw me, I mean, is as you said, there's the weird sort of quite creepy middle-aged man just desperate to be with the young woman, like so much so that he will continue trying to date her the day after she's led him to be beaten up and mugged by her brother and his gang with their awful cringy song and dance number, really. It's gone out of my head at the moment, but don't any of you fucking sing it or it'll be back in my head. It's, I mean, the other thing that worked against it from the start was the way that some people couldn't settle on an accent. What was going on with Oliver Reed for the first 20 minutes of this film?
No idea.
I mean, I'm thinking his character was kind of acting up.
He wanted to show that he could be in Clockwork Orange so bad. So bad.
Which is a shame because Oliver Reed's great, and I think from the Hammer movies he did, obviously he was in their one. He was in Curse of the Werewolf, right? He was the main character in that. He was in their one werewolf film.
He is, yeah.
Requires less makeup because he's hairy bear Oliver Reed, but he was also in quite a few of their kind of the thrillers, the psychological thrillers, and he's great.
Pops up in 3 of our movies this evening.
Yeah,
in one it's an uncredited cameo, but he's in 3 of them.
Right, I got him in 2. So, but he was, I think, often a really good Hammer player, and I was hoping to enjoy his performance here, and I didn't really, not until I kind of liked him a bit more by the time it got to the third act. But as Tyler said, it's a lot of things kind of mashed together, and I don't think any of them are given enough care and attention. Not really. There is something interesting about the end of this film, and it is dark, like surprisingly dark, considering where it starts. Which, apart from that opening act of violence, is kind of still being a bit light and frothy because this, central potential couple head away laughing on a boat while angry young yobs shake their fists at the shore and go, I'll get you, butler, like that, basically. But yeah, I did appreciate where it went at the end and kind of what was being said about the whole situation, and certainly one of the other main characters at the end, but there was nothing else there for me to latch onto. I wasn't a big fan of any of the leads. Like McDonald Carey was okay. Shirley Ann Field was okay. As Dave said about Linford, she's kind of wasted, I think. Alexander Knox, I did probably appreciate his performance the most, even though it's in a way it's as equally odd as anything else on there. There was a writer, I think it was somebody else who'd worked on the screenplay, and it was adapted from a novel. Now, Dave, I'm going to ask you if you've read the novel.
I didn't. I have it, but I've not read it because I'd seen the movie before and I went, nah, fuck that shit. Have you read the novel?
Oh, I asked you first. The shoe is on the other hand now, my good man.
I have not. I have not.
No, I had not. I didn't realize.
You can pretend you read it now. Dave doesn't know what's in the book. Just
you could.
Yeah, I read it.
I mean,
big fan. Fuck you.
I have read the other books that the other movies are based on. If that helps.
Oh, you can be smug to us later because we will not have read those. But it kind of, it does make sense that although there aren't sort of too many other hands in, it's based on a novel. There was another screenplay written, or there's someone uncredited with helping to write some stuff, and then a main credited writer. So it feels like those people didn't seem to get their shared ideas gelling with one another, as may have happened, in some kind of just better form of getting this stuff on screen. The kids are generally okay. at portraying what they have to portray. Like I think it's quite good in that they don't do the obvious kind of all these kids might glare at you and be evil. There's just there's something about the situation that's off. It's everything around them that is off and cluing you in on right. There's something not right here, but they don't have. From what I recall, nobody really sort of gives a hooded eye look to camera like that little girl in Omen 4 when they completely misunderstand the fact that the Omen movies were scarier when the child didn't look like an evil little bastard who was clearly spawned from Satan.
Wait, you think the kid in Omen 2 and Omen 1 doesn't look like an evil little shit spawned from Satan?
Look, Dave, he looked
Dude.
like a chubby British child of the 70s, right? Just because you think that is an evil look for the child of Satan, that is
Yeah.
any chubby 70s British kid who doesn't like wearing a uniform and doesn't like getting dragged to church.
You
That's
feel
it.
that it feels like you over-identify with the Antichrist in that movie. I'm just putting that out there. I mean, it feels like we're getting a little too close for comfort on your identification here, Kevin.
I've maybe been in a car when some baboons have got angry, but it happens to everyone. But yeah, I did, I appreciated that from this film, as I say, the way they let everything around the kids add to this air of menace without sort of, shining little torches in the kids' eyes to give that evil look. There are elements to like here, and I've heard from other people who really rate this. I just I don't see how they can look past the other weird clashing elements because it's got too much working against it.
Well, first off, isn't it weird that MacDonald Carey at one point in this film shouts, "Hurry, children, take off all of your clothes," and this isn't the film about paedophile this week.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. I picked this film because Kevin's mentioned my love of Joseph Losey, who's fast becoming one of my favourite directors of all time. For me, he made 4 straight up masterpieces later in his career. He made The Go-Between, Mr. Klein, King and Country, and The Servant, which is his masterwork. Like, I adore all 4 of those films. So when I saw his name on a list of films, a list of underappreciated Hammer films, there was like no other choice for me. Definitely, I got to go for the Losey one. And I'm not a fan, like, at all. This is the first Losey film I've not enjoyed, and it's kind of shocking to me that this was immediately followed by a film as assured as The Servant, because Losey is floundering here. He's all at sea. No pun intended. Like, it's a mess. You're all bang on. It's a complete mess. Like, totally unconnected story strands just thrown together in such a way that nothing in this film ever feels cohesive, and none of these like very separate narratives are given space to develop or expand. It's a total mess. I think, apart from it not being cohesive, the biggest roadblock this film has is its leads. Like, MacDonald Carey, he gives an adequate performance, but his character is just like a thinly written creep. He's basically just his questionable sexual preferences in a turtleneck. That's all he is. Like, if he'd been around in 2006, I guarantee he'd been checking in on that creepy Emma Watson's 16th birthday countdown online. He's just a very creepy man. And Shirley Ann Field's character, like, she has a little more backstory that could have developed in interesting directions, but A, no character in this film ever develops in any kind of direction, and B, I just don't think her performance is good. I think it's pretty dire. I mean, the stuff here that I did like, Alexandra Knox and Vivica Lindfors are both excellent, I think. Like, any philosophical debate this film's interested in having, that it's, trying to, like, bring up and, discuss, it happens between those 2 characters. the scientist and the artist. It's everything that this film is trying to say is there, and it's really baffling that those two characters aren't central to the narrative. They're pushed aside for these two awful leads who are generally pretty pointless. I liked Oliver Reed. He's got that brooding menace to him, but I don't know. I think his character could have slotted in really well with Knox and Linfors, a little kind of trio of these different characters rubbing up against each other. Not that way, but you know what I mean. But he just gets pushed aside in the second half, not used well. The locations are really good. They're really nicely shot. They're all about an hour up the coast from me, actually. And the locations get really eerie and atmospheric once the sun goes down. At least the outside locations before they go down to the boring sets. And I don't know. Like I said, the stuff I like, but it's all like cut to the bone. And it's the rest. It's all in favour of this kind of borderline incomprehensible nonsense. And the flattest possible romance between two of cinema's worst ever protagonists. I can't state that more seriously. They are the worst protagonists I've seen in a movie. They're completely pointless. They could be lifted from this film, and not only would it not damage the film, it would improve it immeasurably, I'm sure, because it would actually give some attention to much more interesting characters. So yeah, I was really not a fan of this one. It's a big disappointment, and a big disappointment with some wildly implausible reviews on Letterboxd. Someone called it Losey's best British film when The Servant exists. You're just wrong. I'm sorry. I like to be about being subjective and shit, but no, you're wrong. Shut up, idiot.
You know why Losey directed it, right?
Well,
couldn't get a job.
Yeah, he'd been kicked out of the US. Well, not kicked out, but he'd certainly been kicked out of the film industry.
He was kicked out.
There.
He was blacklisted, and he'd lost a ton of jobs. He was supposed to direct X the Unknown, also for Hammer.
Yeah,
but
he probably grabbed the first job he could get. I get it.
But then, because this did well, that let him make The Servant. So
Yeah, so I'm glad this did well, and I'm glad he went on to make the films he went on to make. Because once he left, I like at least one of his US films. There's a really nasty little curvy little noir film he made. I think Kevin's seen it. The Prowler.
Oh yeah, the Prowler's fun. Modesty Blaze is pretty decent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a lot of fun stuff. I mean, I liked Losey did good stuff when he did good stuff.
Yeah, but I prefer his British and his European work to his American stuff. I really like The Criminal as well. That's a good little British crime film. But this is the first one of his films I have not enjoyed. And maybe I'm missing something in it, given that I've seen people give this 5 stars, which is so implausible to me. But I know I don't care enough to go in for a second look to find what I'm missing. I'll just happily miss it.
I really like
this one.
Did you see The Intimate Stranger yet? I liked that.
Not yet.
I don't remember if that's a US or English one for him. It'd either be his first British one or his last American. It's right in that time period.
All right. Well, my list of Losey films to watch is just his IMDb page. I'm gonna watch them all because
nice.
I'm a big fan. Apart from The Damned, which kind of sucks.
No, that happens.
Do you want me to pick one?
That is usually how we do it.
Okay, we'll do that. Then. I'm going to go with Captain Clegg, which was Dave's choice, wasn't it? Yeah, of course it was. Oh God, I got to do a synopsis, haven't I? Jesus. Let me just get the one off. Let me get the one off IMDb. I'm very lazy.
I mean, Marsh Phantoms, sailors.
Yeah, there's sailors. There's
pirates.
There's pirates. There's piracy goings on, and the Royal Navy are investigating reports of illegal smuggling and so on and so forth. And ta-da! I know I've made this statement before a couple of times. I made a concerted effort to not say it in all 4 of my reviews tonight. I'm just going to say in this one, I'm not a fan of Hammer movies, really, at all. It was actually us covering a bunch of them for the show that helped me come to this conclusion, because I think I was in denial for many years, thinking someone's going to take my horror fan credentials from me because I didn't like Hammer. But I don't particularly like Hammer. It's 100% subjective, I know, but for me, the very, very, very best Hammer movies top out at a 7 out of 10. But that does mean that when I say a Hammer film is a 7 out of 10, it's 7 out of 10 in the grand scheme of things, but it kind of becomes a 10 out of 10 in the world of Hammer, if that makes any sense. Like, if he gets a 7 out of 10, it's the cream of the crop for me. And Captain Clegg is a 7 out of 10, making it a Hammer 10 out of 10. Does that make sense?
Does
Fine.
to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yay.
I got you. I understand.
Okay. Yeah, I like this one. It's got the holy trinity of stuff that make Hammer films work. It has Peter Cushing, it has excellent production design, it has a killer score. Though, if you've got that holy trinity, then it's probably a pretty solid film. And this one was fun. Like, Cushing's on great fucking form here. Like, his character is an amusingly sly fox, and you can tell he's enjoying playing something a little lighter than usual. Like, he's getting to play up his mischievous side. It's not so much doom and gloom. He's having fun, and watching Peter Cushing have fun is a lot of fun. Production design is excellent. Costumes, this is a Hammer thing. It's the same with every Hammer film. The costumes are too clean. Come on, these people are living in filth. But other than that, like, the production design works really, really well in service to the tone and the atmosphere. Like, I'd never go as far as calling a Hammer film gritty, but it's definitely more gothic grime than gothic opulence, this one. And it just had a real great vibe to it. And I really love the phantom designs as well. You know Rob Zombie got a real stiffy over those phantom designs. They look great. And I like the creepy scarecrows, and I just love the vibe of this film. It's got a really great vibe. The score's great, sells the tone completely, just bombastic and just an excellent score. Supporting cast are great. I really like Milton Reed. His character is one that is really weird, because it just kind of ended up becoming a stock character in movies for about a 30-year period. The kind of bald, mute, shaped like a barrel beast man. It just there are hundreds of them for some reason. They just became very popular. And Milton Reed is one of the best. He's no Tor Johnson, because Tor Johnson was the king of that particular kind of role. But Milton Reed is really good in this. Patrick Allen is really good as well. He's our antagonist. He's essentially like a militarily armed tax collector. So he didn't have to do much to come off as a piece of shit. But Alan still kind of digs into incredible, like, reserves of pomposity for this role. He's really just very easy to despise. Oliver Reed is sexy, slutty Oliver Reed. He's just, when he's not doing anything too serious, he just relaxes in that loose kind of way that he does, and is sexy and slutty and fun. I enjoy him. But I think what made this one work for me out of the 4 films we watched this week is it just had a sense of fun. It had a sense of fun and a lightness of touch that the other films this week just did not. I mean, there are loads of fun little touches I liked. There are 2 separate instances of someone hurling a cape over somebody else's face to distract them briefly, and I would love to do that just once in my life. I'd like to have someone go for me and for me to throw a cape over their face so I can escape. That would be wonderful. But I just don't wear a lot of capes, and I don't get attacked a lot. But we'll see. I might have to start wearing capes. But it's just all sort of like fun stuff. Like, there's hidden tunnels, and there's phantoms on horseback, and there's Peter Cushing swinging on a chandelier. It's got this boys' own adventure vibe that just really worked for me, and it just all came together. So I really don't have many problems with it. I think, as negative as I get, I don't think I've ever seen a Hammer film that completely justifies its runtime. There's always a little filler. There's always a little, spinning of the wheels. But other than that, yeah, I really liked Captain Clegg. It's a healthy 7 out of 10 for me.
All I would say, Craig, is not to completely rule them out yet until you've sampled some of the more celebrated titles. Because obviously
Okay.
these were not like I don't know if you'd like it. I'm a big fan of The Nanny. The Nanny's a fantastic one with Betty Davis. Obviously, some people will always love every Dracula film and Frankenstein film, but The Nanny, The Devil Rides Out is classic for me. And they're,
Yeah.
as I say, they're weird little dark thrillers are quite interesting and fun as well. Like generally better than our choices, I would say.
And you force them on me, and I'll watch them.
Well, I might do then. I'll bear that in mind. I'd seen Captain Clegg before. I I love it. I think it's brilliant. So I was happy when Dave picked this that there would at least be one uh, solid film for me to enjoy here. Yeah, and I kind of agree. I agree with what Craig has already said in praise of it, but I'm just more effusive in that praise. Because I think Cushing is fantastic here. He's really seemingly having fun in the role, but it also it does have that, like you say, Craig, it does have that kind of boys on adventure sense, but it also has like quite a, I don't know, it feels like there's a bit of depth to it by the time you get to that finale, and I really it's always good to see Michael Ripper in a decent little role. He's quite the regular Hammer face, so he was good in this. Um, Milton Reed is memorable as the figure named Mulatto. Um, so that was yeah, quite an interesting plot device there. I don't know, it's just one. I've liked it from the first time I saw it. I'm not familiar with any other versions of it. So you said it was. Is the other version a proper Disney-fied version, Dave?
Actually, both are fairly close to their source books. So, I mean, it's very much 70s Disney, but they keep as close as 70s Disney will allow.
Okay. I didn't even really know the source material. I knew it was Anthony Hines involved with the writing. I don't think director Peter Graham Scott was on my radar for anything else, film wise anyway, that springs to mind. But they just they work together really well. Make good use of the cast. I think Patrick Allen's really good as well as the Captain Collier, who's chasing down what could be a myth or what could be a missing body of Captain Clegg. I just I don't want to go on and on. Repeat myself. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, thanks for giving us this one.
I'm just thinking it would look a bit like a Benny Hill film if you put it on 1.5 speed, like some people do. It would just be constantly like those soldiers marching up a hill looking for Captain Clegg in a big group. And
Who? I don't get that either. I say I listen to that many podcasts. I listen to them on double speed, but audiobooks I try and listen to them at normal speed because of the
Yeah.
flow of writing and films. Like, you know, people work
It's
to edit
unhinged.
and paste stuff. It's like, wow. Imagine somebody watching a Terrence Malick film in half an hour and being like, nothing much happened, but it was over quick enough. That's not the point, you heathen.
Hey, if I didn't do it during Lust for a Vampire, I'm never doing it.
Oh, Lost for a Vampire just needs super slow-mo and a lot of use of the pause button, but we'll get to that soon enough.
Yeah, the more I watch Hammer, the more I'm Team Craig, and of not really loving Hammer as a whole. This doesn't even really feel like a horror movie, which is totally fine. It doesn't have to be a horror movie. It's more of a pirate, like smuggler adventure film with some small bits of horror thrown in here and there. And I'm gonna repeat this a lot this week, but nothing really grabbed me plot wise at all. I mean, all except for maybe Peter Cushing being fucking awesome, because Peter Cushing is fucking awesome, and Oliver Reed was really good too. And the action scenes are actually fairly well done. The production design is fantastic. It looks great visually, which is never a problem when it comes to Hammer horror movies ever. They always look great. But the atmosphere in those marsh scenes are really top notch too. Just foggy, and yeah, it looks good. The movie looks great visually. It's just kind of just okay. Like I said, though, out of all the movies this week, this was the one I was really looking forward to watching, because it is one of Rob Zombie's favorite movies, and I never saw it until now. But yeah, this one really disappointed me. But I do like Rob Zombie's fake Southern band, Captain Clegg and the Night Creatures. So if it stemmed from this movie, yeah, sure, I'll give it credit for that. But yeah, I'm not a fan. But Peter Cushing is awesome, and he's always awesome. Just I wish I liked the movie a little bit better.
Tyler hates Joy because this film's a blast. I, I kid, but it's very much, it is in that swashbuckling framework. The original book, the series is written by I will think of it. Uh Russell Thorndike. And essentially it's most of them sit there with like Treasure Island for, you like swashbuckling tales, you read Treasure Island, and then you read Dr. Sin. And this is based on the first book. It's a blast. Peter Cushing is perfect. I really enjoy Michael Ripper as his assistant Mips, who is one of the few, I think maybe the only character that appears in all of them. Dick Francis is really good as the Squire. Patrick Allen, who will show up in another film, is solid as Captain Collier. It's a fun one. I absolutely love the Scooby-Doo-ness of them running around the marsh in those outfits, or dressed as a scarecrow. Like, there's a lot that I truly enjoy. This is a winner, and I think it's a shame that it's totally overlooked. I will say I did enjoy the Disney one also, the which that's actually under two titles. That's in some places it's called, Dr. Sin, this aka the Scarecrow, but in the US it's called The Scarecrow of Romney Marsh. I think that's like I want to say that's the fourth or fifth book in the series. But it's close to the book. The cast is really good. It's decently made. I love the day for night shots in this. Like, day for night never really works, but the ones in this are so perfectly not working that they just give me joy. I am more on board with Hammer than Craig is. I'm not as big a fan as some others are, but they do a lot of fun stuff. And essentially, if Peter Cushing is there, I know I'm going to have a good fucking time. I know I'm going to have a good time. This one's a blast. I had not seen it before. Like, I knew it was coming. We will actually be watching something directed by the director Peter Graham Scott later this month, because he directed an episode or two of The Prisoner. So, that's something to look forward to. I'm a fan. I quite enjoyed Captain Clegg. God, you know what? I don't want to talk about the one, so I'm gonna go with Tyler's pick, which is the vampire. No, that's the first one. Lust for a Vampire, which is the second of the Karnstein trilogy of lesbian vampire films. Full disclosure, I really like the first one, The Vampire Lovers, which stars Ingrid Pitt as the Marcella in that. And I really like the third one, Twins of Evil, where the Marcella in that is played by, Katya Wythe. I really enjoy both those movies. They're a lot of fun. Both of those have Peter Cushing. Guess who is not in Lust for a Vampire? That's right. There's no Peter Cushing, so that's already a mark against it.
Hey, but Christopher Lee's there, huh?
That is don't. I'm not. I thought we promised not to do the Temu Christopher Lee joke.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it.
You bastard. Yeah, okay, so this is about a writer named Richard Lestrange, who has come to the small town that the Karnstein vampires occasionally wreak havoc on. I can speak. Havoc on. I think it's every 40 years in this one. And the Karnstein property and their manor home have become a finishing school for young women, just in time for the vampire cycle to start again. Yeah, nothing in this one works for me. I will be fair. Ute Stinsgard she's gorgeous, but like they don't let her. Does she even speak to anybody? She just kind of stares at people, and everyone lusts for her. Which, I mean, reasonable, but Cushing is replaced by Ralph Bates in this one. Ralph Bates is not good and barely in it. It's just Mike Raven, or we have Christopher Lee at home, is, as a human being, he was an incredibly talented person who did some interesting things with his life. He was an occasional flamenco guitar player at Spanish restaurants throughout London. But he's not great as a vampire lord. He just kind of stands there looking like Christopher Lee, and the lead is Michael Johnson, and he is terrible and creepy. Barbara Jefford is the Countess, the Countess appears in the third one also. I don't think she's in the first Karnstein film, and she's just there. Susanna Lee is underused. Eric Chitty is the other professor, and I think he's actually really good, but again, wildly underused. This is just like a really creepy dude skeeving on a vampire girl who wants to just, suck the blood and boobs of other girls in the school. And instead of just letting them do that, they have to, have this guy like do a weird I'm in love with you shit, which is just kind of filler. Fun fact, Mike Raven didn't do his own voice. He's dubbed by Valentine Dale, who was he did a lot of stuff. He was in a couple Doctor Who's. He's Gravnar in the original Hitchhiker's Guide radio series. Dude has a hell of a voice. Does not look like Christopher Lee, so they couldn't have him on it. Fun fact, this is actually written by Tudor Gates. Tudor Gates also wrote Danger Diabolique and Barbarella. He had a thing for, sexy people doing sexy things in the late 60s. But yeah, there's no reason to watch this. Go watch the other two movies. They're just better. And they have more nudity. Something doesn't even succeed on the nudity front. What the fuck, T? This feels personal.
It was personal for me too, Dave. Very.
Don't worry, T. I think it succeeds enough in the nudity. I well, it's not Lust for a Vampire really that first caught my attention. Beauty Stensgaard. Like years ago, I would read the Dark Side magazine, which for a while seemed to be the best horror magazine in the UK. And then there were accusations of plagiarism, and nothing was ever well resolved, and it doesn't sit well with me now. But I would read that. I would buy it every month, find it wherever I could while it stayed on the shelves. I won their photo caption competition at least 3 times. So maybe I was the only reader. It's bizarre. Like on video, I won a copy of House 4. I won a set of V the series, and I won Frankenstein Unbound. Those are great memories for me as a young prize winner. Another great memory is they had an issue where one of the main feature articles was about UT Stensgaard. And this was at a time where, for me, I thought Hammer kind of started and finished with Dracula and Frankenstein. I was maybe already aware of The Devil Rides Out, but I hadn't explored any of their other films. So, what they did with this article was they wrote about UT Stensgaard, they mentioned the film, and they had lots of photos. And UT Stensgaard doesn't really seem to like wearing clothes a lot. And in this film for the main scenes, and also many of the other photo shoots that she did. So I was immediately smitten. She was gorgeous, and I wanted to track down this film. And I don't know, it seemed to be quite a hard one to get a hold of for a long time. And when I eventually saw it, there was some inevitable disappointment because we don't have Peter Cushing and we do have Poundland Christopher Lee in here. There was also the disappointment that UT Stensgaard isn't actually a very good actress. Like, she's certainly not one of the better Hammer actresses in a main role. But she still looked gorgeous. She was still generally quite allergic to clothing, and I was pretty happy with it. Like, she is, if she was better at acting, she would be perfect for this role, and it's like a great role. She's the kind of woman that's so stunning. Women start talking to her and then just start taking their tops off while they're just sitting having a casual conversation. That is the power of UT Stensgaard, I think. I don't even think it's the vampire power. That's just her. The film itself is quite silly. Yeah, Bates is disappointingly hamming it up in his role. I think Johnson, like, I think his character is an odd one as a kind of lead character here, but that oddness and the way people behave here is offset by the fact that they have UT Stensgaard in her role. Because I think that, like, for me, that's a sort of get out of jail free card for everything. It's like, oh, this guy's totally smitten and wants to stay here forever and is in love immediately. And I'm just like, yeah, shoot Stensgaard. Yeah. Oh, he will throw away any chance of happiness with Susanna Lee, who seems like a very nice woman, and he'll have these ridiculous conversations about potential vampirism and bloodlines while risking his own neck. Like, yeah, it's shoot Stensgaard. So, you know, that's it. That's my explanation for everything. So that's fine. So that's my way of saying I still find enough to enjoy this at levels of Kevin 7. So fuck you guys. It's not the best from Jimmy Sangster, who directed some good stuff. Am I thinking of him as the director or as a writer? Actually, I can't recall. I might have been celebrating his best work as a writer. It might have even been Sangster who wrote The Nanny. I get them all jumbled up.
It was. I think Sangster did write the Danny.
I agree that Susanna Lee is underused, and I think she's really good, and she deserved better in this film. But what they've done is, quite understandably, is try to bet everything on Stensgaard in her role. And as I say, she's just. It feels like I'm just being rude at this point, but she doesn't seem to have the acting ability to match her sort of look for the role. So that's what takes it down. And Mike Raven as Count Karnstein is he's a bit weak here. But again, he suffers from the script and how it's all a bit silly. But I would still shrug for every minute and be like, yeah, I know, Beauty Stensgaard. So I mean, I was kept happy. That's me. It's
Dude, she's not even on screen for like 20 minutes. It's all that other dude. I don't get it. I'm so like I feel like you are just way too easy on the lesbians. Not that
Kevin
I
basically
disagree with
just
that. Like,
reviewed UT
yay,
Stensgaard.
but you know,
yeah, it's like
I feel that feels right.
yeah. I mean, it's the film is generally sort of 2, 3 out of 10. Then you get total absolute Stensgaard out of 10, which evens out to a Kevin 7. I don't know why you're questioning my maths here, Dave. That's quite obvious.
I am not questioning anything. I am just saying that I think you didn't review the whole film. That's all I'm saying.
No, I did, and I do know, like I'm like stupidly biased with it because of like that longing to see it for years. And being smitten with Stensgaard when I first read that article about it and saw the photos. So I took that attachment into the film, and where the film disappointed me, I was still really happy to have kind of finally seen it and finally have access to it, and that stays with me whenever it's not that I rewatch it often. I don't think I've rewatched it since that first time I saw it, but I can't shake off that feeling. It's a similar feeling to when you have that nostalgic glow for something. So I know that it's definitely all my bias with it, but I still like it.
Well, I hold my hands up with this one because this film was in for a rough ride, like well before the hot pink credits started rolling down the screen. Like I was already not feeling generous. Like this was the last of the 4 films that I watched, and there are no other circumstances where I'd watch 4 Hammer movies in a year, let alone a fucking week. Like I was hammered out by the time I watched this. I was hammered flat. I was just not in the mood. And then along with that came like my painful ordeal just trying to watch this film. Dave saved the day in the end, but I had been searching for a while, and I think I found a 360p copy, and that was the high watermark. I was seeing shit I'd never seen before, like 107p videos that looked like goth Minecraft. It was horrendous. Like I nearly had a breakdown trying to watch this fucking movie. So by the time I was watching it in acceptable quality, still buffering occasionally, mind you, but watchable, I did not have a generous spirit. Like I was fully ready to loathe this fucking movie with every part of me. But no, in the end, I was just deeply bored by it. Just deeply, deeply fucking bored. Um, It has the stuff that I tend to appreciate about Hammer films. It does have that stuff. It has the production design, the strong production design. Like, it's Hammer's greatest strength after like booking, you know, Peter Cushing. Their production design is always strong, and you know the sets in particular. The outside sets look a little unfinished, but the indoor sets are great. Like with Hammer, a setting is a setting. You know, it's like a character in itself. They always get that right, and they got that right here. There's some stylish cinematography, like the corpses tossed down the well look fucking great. You got Marcella walking through the castle grounds, shrouded in mist. That looks fucking great, and the score is fantastic. I don't think I've ever heard a subpar score in a Hammer film. It's another thing they like. They always seem to get right. And there are some beautiful women in this, like striking by even Hammer's high standards. And yes, Uti Stensgaard is she's a beautiful woman, and the camera just absolutely fucking worships her. And for me, I think she actually translates that into real screen presence. It's my favourite performance in the film by a long, long way. It doesn't matter that she's not a particularly great actress; she just has incredible presence, just because the camera loves her so much. The problem with Lust for a Vampire, though, is beauty is skin deep with Lust for a Vampire. Like you dig any deeper and there is nothing there. It's a story about obsession that doesn't have a pulse. Like it has no heat, no heart, no chemistry shared, no actual lust. It's just mild disinterested horniness, which characters act on completely dispassionately. It's bizarre. It's just a fucking drag. Like the climax rocks. I fucking love the climax. It's partly the fiery imagery, which looks so good. It's partly that really gnarly accidental staking, which is the highlight of the film. And it's partly just because it was the climax and the film was nearly over. But yeah, I found this one incredibly dull. Like 13-year-old me would have liked this a lot more because it is quite nipply, and I probably would have watched this over like 20 nights in like 5 minute segments. But adult me just had no time for this, no matter how much Uti Stensgaard was trying to seduce Kevin. I just it has all of those elements that I like about Hammer films, but it has nothing else. Everything else is in the negative points. It just takes away from everything. It's a dull story, dull performances, horrible pacing. Just did not enjoy this one bit.
I mean, Craig, you can imagine my disappointment many years ago when YouTube launched and I realised it wasn't a whole corner of the internet dedicated to UT Stensgaard. I thought it was like YouTube.
It is in your corner of the universe, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what bookmarks are for. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, strap in, guys, because I'm about to talk some shit about my own pick. This doesn't happen very often, so it's going to be shocking. Yeah, this wasn't nearly like horny or lesbian enough for my taste, if I'm being totally honest. I mean, the actual lesbian aspect of this film is mostly just overtones. I mean, there's a kiss here and there, and the one kind of sex scene we get is some boring ass hetero bullshit with a fucking dude, and it's set to a terrible song. What the fuck was that song? It was so bad. Oh my god, I was so disappointed in this movie. Okay, so I find the lack of lesbian sex in your erotic lesbian vampire movie deeply upsetting. And look, going into this, I'm not expecting, lesbian vampires sucking blood from clits while drinking period blood tea out of some fine china with a nice crumpet. I want that, sure. But I don't always expect that. Just give me something. Well, I mean, like Craig said, I could have easily masturbated to this when I was like 12 because that's the area you can get like a proper wank off to a JCPenney catalog with a slight cleavage. I mean, that's just the era. But yeah, I should have known going into this. Hammer never really goes full horny, and it's a shame, really. I mean, the movie itself is okay. Like, I don't really have a lot of issues with it as a whole. It's okay-ish. It exists. I didn't hate it. It's just for a movie called Lust for a Vampire, it's very tame. And for the most part, it's kind of bloodless too, which is kind of crazy for a vampire movie. It is beautifully shot though, and the cast is gorgeous. The soundtrack is good, and it has like a solid gothic atmosphere. And I really liked the resurrection scene as well. But other than that, it's super forgettable. It's just really forgettable stuff. It's not even on like Embrace of the Vampire levels. It's just I don't really have much else to say about it, which is kind of weird for a movie that I picked. I mean, there's better lesbian vampire movies, there's better Hammer vampire movies. Yeah, just skip this one. It's pretty boring. A pretty looking movie, but boring. So, Never Take Sweets from a Stranger is a British drama about a Canadian family moving into a small town where their young daughter is molested by an influential elderly local man, and the town conspires to cover up the crime, forcing the parents to fight for justice against a corrupt legal system. Um, so this is easily the best film of the week, and I'm using that in like different kind of terms here. Uh, on a purely technical level, the performances, everything on display here is pretty top notch. It's incredibly dark, and this is coming out in 1960. I mean, that's pretty fucking crazy, because there is some truly harrowing shit in this movie, and the cast is excellent. This really, really good cast. I didn't expect such a disturbing little domestic drama to come from Hammer, but like here we are. Um, I mean, it tackles stuff like child abuse and corrupt power and society turning a blind eye to the rich. It's super, super bleak stuff. But with all that good stuff said, I was still pretty unengaged throughout most of this movie. I mean, like I said, I can appreciate on a filmmaking level. But story wise, nothing was really just grabbing me. I was just pretty bored throughout most of it. I mean, one of the last notes I took while watching this was I know this movie is good. This is a really good movie, but I'm struggling to really get into this movie, and I can't figure out why. Because everything on display is just top notch. It's excellent all across the board, but I was just unengaged throughout most of it, which is really weird. Like, it's not one that I would probably rush to rewatch ever, but there's something there that's good. I just wasn't feeling it as a whole, and if that makes any sense at all.
I'm a little torn on this one. I think the first 2/3 are really decent. Now, you got to remember and bear it in mind while watching that it is made in 1960. So there's only so many things they can do. But Patrick Allen, who was also in Captain Clegg, is solid as Peter Carter. Gwen Watford is really good as his wife, and young Jenia Fey is really good in her role. She does a lot of heavy lifting, and she's, let's see, it's she's like 11 or 12, I think, and I think she does really well with what she's given. The problem is some of the other cast members are not so great. Especially, and this is what really hurts, is Felix Almer as the Predator. Almer was a very accomplished actor, especially on stage. But what they have him do in this is, I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. It is doddering cartoon Predator, and I think that's kind of a problem. And then when they turn the last act into an extended chase scene, it kind of undercuts a lot of the emotional impact that came before for just some pretty lame, uh, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Moralism. Because you got to punish everybody in the end, except like it really just punishes one person, you know? So I have issues with the last act, but I think especially the courtroom scene, I think it's really well done. I think there's a lot to respect in this. It just doesn't fully come together for me. And part of that's because of the time period they were handicapped. And I got to give them credit for really going for it. But I don't think it quite sticks the landing. But I do think it's not quite as high as Captain Clegg for me, but both of them I feel should be better seen. This one is definitely ahead of its time. And yeah, I think it's one of two that I think it's just a shame that they've been mostly overlooked. I mean, we've all discussed Hammer for decades at this point with each other and others. And it's just, it's a shame that it's been kind of lost.
Yeah, as soon as Kevin mentioned the subject for the special, this is the first film that sprang to mind because I've been intrigued about it since that first indicator hammer set dropped. I think this was on there, wasn't it, Kevin? It's on the first one.
I believe so. I can't see
Yeah.
them from my shelf right now. I can't remember which one I grabbed it from.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. This is like overall, this is a solid effort, but I was also aware that like I'm looking at it through 2026 eyes. It can be difficult to critique a film like this while watching it a whole 60 years shy of the era it was produced in. Like, for how forward thinking elements of it are, it really deserves to be looked at with 1962 eyes, which, obviously I can't do. I mean, my eyesight suggests otherwise, but I can't do it. But I've tried my best to view it as a product of its era, more so than the rest of this week's films, because they're all from the 60s. But I wanted to look at this one with the 1962 eyes because I feel like it reaches outside of its era. It's forward thinking in that way. So I really tried to look at it that way. Like, the script is really excellent. That's where it's really ahead of its time. It is unexpectedly frank in its descriptions of events. Like the line of dialogue, "We all took our clothes off." It hits like a fucking truck. That's such a shocking line of dialogue. And then you got the attitudes of some of the characters in response to events, which are just as fucking shocking as the inciting incident. You got that cross examination, which is fucking brutal. Like, all the on screen violence in this film is verbal, and it hits really fucking hard. The story plays out pretty naturally. I think plays out at a good pace. There was a part of me that wanted the whole back end to play out as a straight legal drama, but I understand how the third act works better thematically for what they were going for. It kind of The third act isn't perfect because I do feel like it's looking over Cape Fear's shoulder and copying its homework here and there, but that moment with the boat rope is so like brilliantly Hitchcockian. It's such a brilliant moment that it kind of I let certain things go. There's some really striking cinematography throughout, especially during the outdoor scenes. It's really nicely shot. Where it falls down a little, I think, and where it does date itself, is with some of the performances and the. Hey, check me out now. Some of the performances and the mise en scène. Never ever said that before. Never ever going to say it again. Oh yes.
Fucking arty, baby. This is classy shit.
Yeah, people have just switched off. The last couple of people who were listening to the show have been like, "Oh, fuck this shit." A couple of the performances are really good. Like, Jamina Faye is excellent as Jean, absolutely fantastic. And an actor called Robert Arden, he's in one scene as the second victim's father, and he gives a really naturalistic performance, which feels totally separate from the rest because it is naturalistic rather than the rest of the performances, because the rest of the performances feel very theatrical, bordering on kind of histrionic in some cases. And when you have these performances going quite big within these kind of stiff, stagey environments, it all starts to kind of it starts to take on the qualities of like an old public safety video, like an after school special. And that's kind of the last thing you want this film to feel like. You don't want it to feel like a dry fucking lecture about stranger danger. And unfortunately, it does a bit at points. And like I said, like I tried to watch with 1962 eyes, and I do get that there were no doubt like external pressures to present this story in a certain way, in a way where people could, you know, take it in without being too shocked. But I don't know. I wish the filmmaking was as forward thinking as the themes in the writing, because the writing is well ahead of its time. But like I say, it just once too often plays out like an after school special about stranger danger, which you don't want it to be. You want it to be something else. You want it to be a drama and not a lecture. But you know, overall, I thought this was really good, and I think, and I think everyone said it so far. I just extra praise for Jamina Faye, because it's one of the finest child performances I've ever seen. I think she really is fantastic. So I'm glad I got to watch this, even if it has a couple of niggling issues, but I'm really glad I watched it.
Oh, I checked my shelf, Craig. It was in volume 2.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe the first 4 volumes are sold out by now, the Hammer sets. But it was in a cracking set that also had Cash on Demand, which is. Have you not seen Cash on Demand?
I have not.
As I was wondering if you had seen it, but not noticed it was a Hammer. The Snorkel, which is the one I'm always going on about. It's like a
Yeah.
wonderful kind of almost Columbo type film, and something called The Full Treatment, which is the only one I now haven't seen from that set, was also
Oh, okay.
titled Stop Me Before I Kill. So that's a cracking set that I've finally made more progress. It's just, again, this was on a title that I'd heard about for a long time, and I mean, you've got to really be in the mood to sit down and watch a Hammer Studios paedophile drama, ain't you? You don't just you don't just want to put that on to watch while you're sitting there having your pot noodle and then other snacks. You need to be mentally prepared, and I picked it for the special because I then was mentally prepared. I kind of agree with everything that's been said so far. Well, it is obviously hampered by the time it was made, but what impressed me? Well, it impressed me, but it's also slightly depressing, is that it feels very like in line with how things still are today. And I'm not going to point at the obvious major figures that we've seen not necessarily be raked over coals and taken to face some more immediate justice, but there's this ongoing issue of it being so disturbing and so taboo that I think people who are attached, it's a horrendous thing to think of anyone going through as a victim and as loved ones attached to a victim. I think when you're in that situation, as much as you love whoever's been directly affected and impacted, I think your mind is still scrambling for what could have been a different interpretation, what else could have happened, what's around it. And this film does well in that the very proper speaking parents immediately believe the child because the child is a good child and doesn't like make up stories and stuff. That's good. That doesn't really murky the waters at all. But just as you're watching it, you have to think about how you would react, and particularly in that kind of environment or with that sort of person involved who is, basically being defended by others who will stonewall your attempt to get proper justice done. So I think I was really impressed by that, by how much it kind of got in my head and made me think of it in almost exactly the same way for the here and now. It's it's a painful, difficult issue, and somehow it almost benefits from it being that kind of proper and polite Hammer presentation, because that softens the edges just enough for you to just keep going along with every scene that plays out while your mind's ticking over, and thinking how quickly you might resort to violence or deal in your own justice, what you would do, what these many other characters should be feeling in their own minds when they kind of know something is up and something's very wrong with this man who's been accused. So it was really impressive. It felt kind of, in a way, it still felt kind of fresh and quite modern for a Hammer film from that time. And I say, even though it is couched in the very polite and proper speech and the mannerisms and the restraints of the period, it felt pretty spot on. I did not. The other thing that sort of took me by surprise, I did not expect it to almost immediately just kick off with a plot. There's girls at the start with the candy. The film is called Never Take Candy from a Stranger or Never Take Sweets from a Stranger. You're immediately like, no, just don't stop. And then in the next scene, which is pretty much the first scene after the opening credits, the girl's talking to her parents, being like, yeah, and then we're to take our clothes off. I didn't feel comfortable, and it just goes from there. Yeah, I'm glad I marked this off the list, and this one did not disappoint me. It's recommended to all. It's another one where, did you say you'd read this book, Dave?
It's a play,
Or-
and yeah,
or was it just,
I've read it.
Right, okay. Again, I wouldn't be familiar with that, and it didn't ring a bell for me with the people involved. But it's just, it's. I think it stands out as a pretty underappreciated gem in the Hammer catalog.
All right, guys, it's time to pick one. For me, it's Clegg.
Yeah, I'm going Clegg too.
I will also still have to go for Clegg.
Well, I guess I'll go with Clegg just to give Dave the sweep. But I think the best movie of the week was Never Take Sweets from a Stranger. So, but I'll go with Clegg just to give Dave the sweep.
I mean, you go with what you're going for, man. I'm not
Well, I
offended.
didn't really
It's
like any of the
okay.
movies this week, so I'm just kind of throwing it out there. But
I know you didn't. I'm so sorry that this pained you. I'm actually a little surprised. Next week, we're switching up on partners, and Craig and Kevin are picking together. What do you guys for us, guys?
I've got to hopefully try and make it up to Tyler next week, but it's only mild, Tyler, so it does not hurt us all. We might all enjoy this, hopefully. This is on Mubi, Craig, so I know we can see it here.
Okay.
It's a 2017 film, Thoroughbreds.
ooh, nice.
Okay. You guys are going to help me out here. So, Tyler, 1978 or 2000?
2000.
Same question to Kevin.
2010.
Then I don't need to ask Dave, but I'm going to ask him anyway. Dave, 2000 or 1978?
Well, I guess I'll go with 2000 because, why? Who am I to go against the trend, man?
All right then. Well, I'm going with the 2000 horror comedy Psycho Beach
nice.
Party. You guys missed out on Star Crash.
Oh well, wait, didn't we do StarCraft? No, we did. What's the one with John Boy Walton? Yeah, I mean, I've seen Star Crash, so I've seen both. So yay.
I had one of those moments the other day where you're convinced. We've had this conversation on the podcast before. Convinced we've covered a film on the podcast, or we've done it for some reason, and it was The Stuntman. And I looked through all of the episodes we've done. I was sure I'd watched it for the podcast.
You were thinking of Stunt Rock.
No, no, it's definitely stuff. Is it Steve Rails back in that, and Peter O'Toole and stuff? I don't know. I don't know why. Like I've seen it, but not marked it off the list at some point. But it's not. I was like, did we do it for the podcast? And apparently not. So
No, I think we've discussed it on the chat because I know I've seen Star Crash. That's the Hasselhoff one, right?
It is.
Yeah, but I was thinking Battle Beyond the Stars with John Boy Walton.
Yeah. No, this is a slightly different Star Wars knockoff.
Yeah. And it has Caroline Munro in it, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll probably watch that one soon anyway. But now T can give them the bid.
We're on Instagram, Raiders_of_the_podcast. We're on Facebook, where I sometimes remember to post stuff on Wednesdays, sometimes Thursday, sometimes Friday, sometimes Saturday even. We have a YouTube channel where you can like, subscribe, and watch Kevin's awesome videos. We have a Discord, we have a Blue Sky, and you can always email us at raidersofthepodcast@gmail.com.
As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Yeah.